Okay, it's book review time because I have finally finished all three of Nick Cutter's books. I started with The Troop, then I read The Deep, and then it took me a while, but I just finished Little Heaven. So I think I'm just gonna rank these as like not the worst, but my least favorite all the way up to my favorite. So the one starting at the bottom would definitely have to be Little Heaven. I think it was like the time jump difference. I don't mind it in books, and obviously I don't mind slow burn. I write slow burn, I read slow burn, but for like a horror or thriller, I kind of need to be gripped into the story, and that didn't happen until 150 pages. This is a thick girl. It's almost 500 pages. So the fact that it took that long for me to get hooked and just the constant time jumps was a little bit confusing for me. The gore was great. Character development was amazing. I did fall in love with some of these characters, and I think just like the religious and like cult elements of this really drew me into the story. But like I said, it took me so long. I actually started this in July and just finished it. I needed to just close out the new year with it. Coming in second would be The Deep. This one had time jumps as well. I really think that when it comes to like a horror thriller, I just can't have those in the story. It's probably just me because some people love that, but I feel like if I'm in the story and I'm terrified and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck's gonna happen? I don't want to be jumped back in time and to like a happy kind of memory or explaining something that happened in the character's like past, because then I'm like not scared anymore. And then you jump back in, you're like, okay, where did we leave off? But this one, I'm deathly scared of water where I cannot see the bottom. And the way that Nick Cutter explains the surroundings and the settings for this, it takes place really, really deep. I think they said it was like under, how do you say it, the Marina Trench or something like that? I don't know, I'm probably saying it wrong. But it was like underneath the deepest part of the ocean. And the ocean fucking terrifies me. It just, no thank you. And he explained all of like the fish and the other animals that were in there and how dark it was to go underneath the water, and then add in all of the creepiness of like the experiments they were doing. No thank you, ma'am. So this book, I think I might have gave it 4 stars. This one was a 3-star for me. I think this one was 3 or 4 stars. But the writing is great. He is such a great author to the point where like you can visualize like the setting of the story, how the characters look. And I feel like if you're going to put gore in your story, you need to be able to explain it really well, or else it's just going to come off as cheesy. And he's really good when it comes to that. Now, number one, and I don't think he'll ever be able to write something to top this, is The Troop. Okay? This one, I mainly just wanted to read it because I saw a bunch of videos on it, and the cover was a little bit intriguing. But then when I finally read what it was about, and the fact that it was like a Boy Scout on a deserted island kind of thing, I was like, ooh, that's creepy as hell. I need to jump into this. And I waited and waited and waited, and then my husband was like, oh, I'm going to start reading it. And then I was like, yeah, no, you're not. So he was reading it, and I was also reading it at the same time, so I kind of hoarded the book a little bit. But the gore in this, I keep saying gore, but the creepiness and the nastiness of this was great. And there were a few kids that were like questionable up in their brain, so like that added a really good like factor of it. And the ending, I did not see the ending coming. I do feel like the last few lines was kind of just like thrown in there and it wasn't really needed. But like the twist in this, I didn't think that was going to happen at all. And I do think that it tied in really well, but like I said, the last few lines just, I could have done without that. But this one, by far my favorite. Because you were kind of like in the mind of the Boy Scouts, like, holy shit, what is happening? We're on this island, some weirdo is on here, he looks really gross, like there's something wrong with him, and you find out like he's infected, but then there's no way for you guys to really get help, and then you find out like, oh no, they know you're here, they're just not coming to help you. So like you're kids, like you're little boys, and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So then you look at like, what are they called, your scoutmaster or whatever the hell they're called, and he has no motherfucking idea what he's doing either. And then yeah, you're by yourself. So some of them are obviously gonna probably go insane and want to, but then there's also a boy in there that's super fucked up in the head and is like, yeah, you know what, let's just kill some of these boys. I'm just saying, if you want something that is really, well, not really gory, but really well written, and the storylines are really great, I'm not saying that just because this is my least favorite that it's an awful book, or this one. All three of these are great. It's just my favorite was this one. Definitely check out Nick Cutter's books. I think these are the only 3 he's ever written. If he writes more, I will obviously buy them. He is an auto-buy author for me. I'm really not a fan of your time jumps, Nick. But you're a great writer. But like I said, check out his books. They are not free on Kindle Unlimited, but I got these at Barnes & Noble. I'm pretty sure they're in, like, every single bookstore if you can find them in, like, the horror creepy section. But yeah, this one was 5 stars if I didn't already say that. So it was, like, 5.43, I think. Anyways, that's my book review. Bye.